There have been many terrifying sharks called monsters throughout history, but the megalodon was the biggest and most fearsome of them all. Fortunately, it became extinct due to various events. However, could that really be true? Some people believe it still exists based on the evidence collected. Here are 15 shark sightings that might just be megalodon. Number 15. Henry Boris sighting. Let's dive into another shark encounter, but this time it's a story of survival. Meet Henry Boris, an Australian scuba diver, underwater videographer, musician, and shark attack survivor. This guy has quite the story to tell. Henry was born in Rotterdam and moved to Australia in 1954 with his father. As a young lad, he learned how to operate with an aqualung. Fast forward to November 1964, when Henry was 29 years old, he had a terrifying encounter with a 9-foot-long great white shark off the coast of Australia's Lady Julia Percy Island. It was a brutal attack, and Henry ended up losing his left leg. But here's the thing, he survived. And not only that, he went on to reconstruct the whole experience in his documentary film called Savage Shadows, released in 1969. This dude was determined. Even after losing his leg, Henry kept diving, even with a customized diving fin on the stump of his left leg. Talk about resilience. He even starred in the film Island Treasure in 1981 and created a short film for BHP called Reef and Steel in the 1970s. His story fascinated many, and he was interviewed several times. So there you have it, the courageous tale of Henry Boris, a pretty lucky guy who survived a terrifying encounter with a truly monstrous shark. Number 14. Great White Sharks of Guadalupe Island. Alright, buckle up because we're heading to Guadalupe Island. This volcanic island is located in the Pacific Ocean about 150 miles off the west coast of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula. It's a pretty remote place with only scientists, military personnel, and a few seasonal fishermen living there. And did I mention it's a popular spot for shark cage diving? Guadalupe Island is notable for its great white sharks. More than 300 of these creatures have been spotted in the pristine waters around the island, especially near the northeastern shore. Now here's something interesting about this creature. Male sharks appear in July, followed by the females in September, and they stick around until February. You know what's crazier? They then embark on a migration journey of around 990 miles to the White Shark Cafe, a place between Guadalupe and Hawaii. Talk about a long trip, right? It takes them about 16 days to complete this journey. Some of these sharks actually return to Guadalupe Island regularly. Can you imagine? So, if you're up for a thrill adventure and want to witness great white sharks in their natural habitat, Guadalupe Island is the place to be. Just don't forget to bring your courage with you. Number 13. Thresher shark. The thresher shark is a unique species known for its deadly, weaponized tail. Unlike most sharks that use their front end for attacks, thresher sharks are dangerous on both ends. Their sword-style tail fins have upper portions that can be as long as the shark itself. For almost a century, it has been believed that threshers strike their prey with their elongated fins, resembling old-fashioned threshers. However, this behavior had never been observed in nature under controlled settings. Simon Oliver and his team came close to capturing this phenomenon during the summer of 2010 in the Philippines. They observed and filmed wild pelagic thresher sharks chasing vast shoals of sardines. The films captured breathtaking scenes where threshers hunted with their tails. They would rush towards the ball of fish, use their huge pectoral fins to slam on the brakes, flex the base of their tail, lower their nose, and propel their entire body forward at an estimated speed of 30 miles per hour. The tail tip would be thrown over the head like a catapult. These incredible creatures can whip their tails at a peak speed of 80 miles per hour, making them the fastest sharks in the world. Number 12. Great Barrier Reef. So, picture this. It was in the 1960s when an 85-foot ship had some engine trouble near the outer edge of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. To get the ship fixed, they had to anchor it there. Now, here's the interesting part. Do you know what the captain and crew saw? They claimed to have seen an enormous shark passing by their ship. The creature's silhouette moved with slow, deliberate power, its dorsal fin breaking the surface like a dark sail gliding through the waves. Some of the crew swore the fin alone was taller than a grown man. For nearly 2 minutes, the crew stood frozen as the massive shape circled beneath the hull, its tail occasionally brushing the ship's underside with a low, echoing thud. The captain, a veteran sailor with over 30 years at sea, later described the sight as something that defied all logic, far too big to be a great white. The ocean seemed to hold its breath as the mysterious giant vanished into the depths, leaving only ripples behind. When word spread, local fishermen refused to venture into those waters for weeks, claiming the ghost of the reef was still out there, watching. The story drew scientists, journalists, and thrill seekers, but no one ever found definitive proof of the creature again. It was massive even as long as their ship, if not longer. And get this, it wasn't a whale. These guys were experienced seamen, so they knew it wasn't your typical sea creature. So what on earth was it? Some writers suggest it might have been megalodon, a giant shark. And in a video clip, there's this huge great white shark off Lady Elliot Island near Queensland. A photographer named Adrian Bullock was snorkeling close to it and managed to capture it on video. Crazy, right? He posted the video because he wanted to show that great white sharks are not the menacing monsters we sometimes think they are. Number 11. Mariana Trench. Let's take a deep dive into the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in the ocean and one of the last frontiers for exploration on Earth. People have reported seeing the giant megalodon shark, sparking speculation that this ancient predator might still be lurking in the depths. Some fishermen in the Pacific have claimed to witness enormous shadows moving beneath their boats, shapes too large to be whales, too swift to be submarines. In 2015, a Japanese research vessel detected an unidentified sonar signature nearly 70 feet long at a depth of 9,000 feet, vanishing moments later into the abyss. Could this have been a remnant of the prehistoric era, still roaming the unseen depths? The thought alone has sent shivers down the spines of marine biologists and cryptozoologists alike. What truly makes the Mariana Trench fascinating is its alien environment, crushing pressures, near-freezing temperatures, and a pitch-black void where sunlight never reaches. Yet, even here, life thrives. Amphipods, snailfish, and bioluminescent organisms have adapted to survive where humans cannot. Some experts speculate that if megalodon or any massive predator were to persist anywhere, this isolated ecosystem would offer perfect concealment. The trench's depth could even preserve ancient species in evolutionary stasis, untouched by the outside world for millions of years. But here's the thing. While it's possible that megalodon could inhabit the upper part of the water column above the Mariana Trench, there's really no reason for it to hide in the trench itself. Food is scarce down there, and no other shark species have been known to venture that far. However, we should keep an open mind. Maybe there's something we haven't considered yet, like the possibility of a massive, unknown prey item drawing megalodon into the trench. Scientists have extensively surveyed the seafloor and used advanced sensing equipment, so they would likely be able to detect the presence of such a creature. Number 10. Monster bull shark. Prepare to be amazed. These images are of Neil Hammerschlag, a shark specialist and scholar who captured one of the biggest bull sharks in the world. Can you believe it? During a survey operation to tag sharks, he managed to capture this marine monster. The bull shark measured an incredible 11 feet from snout to tail and weighed an estimated 1,000 pounds, a true heavyweight of the seas. The capture took place off the coast of the Florida Keys, where Neil's team had been conducting a long-term study on shark migration patterns. When the massive creature took the bait, the boat rocked violently as the team struggled to keep control of the line. For nearly an hour, they battled the shark's raw power before finally bringing it alongside the vessel. The sight of its enormous jaws and thick, muscular body left even the most seasoned crew members speechless. Neil described the moment as both exhilarating and humbling, realizing he was staring into the eyes of one of nature's most efficient predators. The bull shark's ability to thrive in both salt and freshwater makes it one of the most adaptable apex predators on Earth. Some have even been found swimming thousands of miles up rivers like the Amazon and the Mississippi, far from the open ocean. Despite their fearsome reputation, Neil's research aims to shed light on their vital role in marine ecosystems, emphasizing conservation over fear. He often says that studying these sharks up close helps break misconceptions, proving that they're not mindless killers, but essential guardians of ocean balance. Neil is absolutely astounded that such creatures still roam in open waters. Could this beast be a relative of the megalodon? Well, it's a possibility. Even if it isn't, it's still something incredibly special. Neil has had his fair share of shark encounters over the years, having captured over 1,000 of them. His team tags them with satellite trackers, removing muscle and fin samples, and even taking blood samples before gently releasing them back into the water. Bull sharks have quite the reputation as the most dangerous sharks in the world and are often blamed for unprovoked attacks. Now it's time for today's topic. In March 2025, satellite researchers from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution were conducting a marine tracking mission in the South Pacific when their instruments picked up something extraordinary, a moving heat signature nearly the size of a commercial submarine. At first, they believed it to be a malfunction, but a drone dispatched from the vessel Endeavour 2 captured something far more chilling. The drone's footage revealed an enormous, shark-like silhouette swimming just beneath the surface. Its dorsal fin alone measured over 10 feet long, and the body appeared to exceed 70 feet, far beyond the length of any recorded great white shark or whale shark. As the creature circled the ship, turbulence formed around it, pulling the vessel slightly off course before it disappeared into deeper waters. Marine biologist Dr. Sarah Lawson later confirmed that no known species could account for the proportions seen in the footage. Some experts believe it could be an undiscovered deep-sea predator, while others suggest it's evidence of a surviving Carcharocles megalodon, a prehistoric giant thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago. The leaked video has since gone viral, sparking global debate. What do you think? A modern-day survivor of Earth's ancient oceans, or an elaborate digital hoax? Number 9. Greenland shark. Now you probably haven't heard much about this species. After all, they primarily inhabit the cold Arctic waters near places like Greenland. They also prefer living in the deep ocean depths, making them quite challenging to study. But despite these obstacles, scientists have managed to gather some fascinating insights. One of the most astonishing discoveries about the Greenland shark came in 2016 when researchers used radiocarbon dating on the shark's eye lens to estimate its age, revealing that one specimen was at least 272 years old and possibly over 500 years old, making it the longest living vertebrate on Earth. These sharks grow incredibly slowly, less than 1 centimeter per year, and don't reach sexual maturity until they're around 150 years old. Because of this, their population recovery rate is painfully slow, putting them at risk from human activities like fishing and pollution. Despite their sluggish movements, Greenland sharks are stealth predators, capable of surprising seals resting near ice holes or scavenging carcasses that sink to the ocean floor. Fishermen have even found the remains of polar bears and reindeer in their stomachs, showing they aren't picky eaters. Their flesh, however, is highly toxic when fresh due to trimethylamine oxide, which causes symptoms similar to drunkenness in animals and humans who consume it. Interestingly, Icelanders once found a way to ferment the meat, creating a dish called hakarl that's still eaten today, though not for the faint-hearted. Some legends among Arctic communities even describe these sharks as ghosts of the deep, ancient watchers beneath the ice who have seen centuries of human history pass above them. The icy darkness they call home only adds to their mysterious allure, as they drift slowly through the deep like living fossils of another time. Unlike many sharks, Greenland sharks don't have a streamlined body or a menacing appearance. In fact, their bodies are quite bulky. Their leisurely pace in the water has earned them the nickname sleeper sharks. But here's the twist. They may be slow and technically blind, but they are incredibly skilled hunters. Another interesting fact about Greenland sharks is their remarkable longevity. There have been reports of these sharks living for nearly 300 years. Imagine if the mighty megalodon had a lifespan like that. It might still be roaming the seas today. Number 8. Whale shark. While much attention is given to great white sharks and megalodons, the title of the world's largest shark currently belongs to the whale shark. Ironically, this gentle giant is not a threat to humans. The whale shark is one of 3 filter feeder sharks that peacefully coexist with humans. Thankfully, this story is not about a whale shark being captured and killed by fishermen. Instead, it is about a naturally deceased whale shark that washed up on shore. The discovery took place along the coast of Pakistan's port city of Karachi in early 2012, drawing hundreds of onlookers who couldn't believe their eyes. The whale shark, floating lifelessly near the surface, was first spotted by local fishermen who initially mistook it for a capsized boat due to its enormous size. As the tide shifted, its massive, spotted body slowly drifted toward the dock, revealing its true form. The sheer scale of the creature caused both awe and confusion among the crowd, with some locals performing rituals out of respect for what they believed to be a sacred animal. Marine biologists later confirmed that the shark had likely died of natural causes days before it was found. The stench from the decaying body quickly filled the air, forcing authorities to act fast before it became a health hazard. For several hours, people gathered to take photos and videos, amazed by the rare sight of such a magnificent creature so close to shore. News agencies across the world picked up the story, sparking conversations about ocean conservation and the growing threats faced by whale sharks due to pollution and climate change. It became not just a moment of curiosity but also a sobering reminder of the delicate balance of marine life. The fishermen celebrated their notable discovery, measuring the massive shark at 40 feet in length and weighing over 6 tons, with some estimating it to be around 15,000 pounds, equivalent to 7.5 tons. However, the challenge arose when they had to figure out how to lift the whale shark out of the water. It took the use of 5 cranes, a true feat in itself, to successfully hoist the massive creature. Later, they sold the meat for a substantial sum of money. Number 7. Navarre Great White Shark. For some people, just catching a glimpse of a certain type of shark is a big deal, but imagine actually catching a great white shark yourself. That's exactly what happened at Navarre Beach Pier, where Jeremy Utter, who loves fishing at the pier, caught the very first great white shark in that area. Let me give you the details. This shark was about 10 feet long and weighed around 700 pounds. The moment the line went tight, Jeremy knew something unusual was at the other end. The sheer power of the pull nearly yanked the rod out of his hands, and for almost an hour, he battled the massive fish as a crowd gathered along the pier, cheering him on. The ocean foamed and churned as the shark made desperate runs, its dorsal fins slicing through the surface like a dark blade. When it finally surfaced, jaws dropped. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. Cameras and phones lit up the scene as people documented the historic moment, knowing this wasn't just another catch. Even local wildlife officials were astonished, later confirming it as the first recorded great white catch in Navarre's history. The shark was carefully released back into the water after being measured and tagged for research, allowing scientists to track its movements and study its unusual migration pattern. Okay, I admit it's not as massive as some of the other sharks we've talked about, but hey, it's still an impressive catch, right? Even the guy who worked at the pier was blown away, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime experience that left him speechless. You see, great white sharks aren't usually found in this part of Florida, so it was quite a rare sight. As a worker at the pier put it, it's not often that you see one, let alone catch one in these waters. So yeah, this catch definitely made waves and impressed a lot of people. Number 6. Black demon shark. This massive black shark is said to call the coast of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula its home. Recently, some local fishermen have come forward with claims of encountering this monstrous black beast. Can you imagine? It's estimated to be anywhere from 20 to 60 feet long and weigh a mind-boggling 50,000 to 100,000 pounds. That's like having a swimming tank cruising through the ocean. Now picture this. The black demon shark is said to resemble a great white shark, but with a twist. It's got a monstrous tail and a really dark coloration. Some people even wonder if it could be a megalodon, that ancient supersized shark. Others think it might be a new kind of shark or even a giant great white. Talk about an underwater mystery. Intrigued by these claims, numerous expeditions have been launched to find this mysterious creature, but so far, no luck. Sightings are few and far between, making it even more challenging to learn more about this legendary predator. It's like trying to track down a ghost in the vast ocean. Now let's talk about the megalodon theory. While it's a captivating idea, we have to face the reality that the megalodon has been extinct for over 2.5 million years. Another explanation could be that the black demon shark is a hypermelanistic great white. You see, hypermelanism is when an animal has an abundance of melanin, causing its skin to be darker than usual. We've seen this phenomenon in some cat sharks and rays, so maybe it's possible for great whites as well. They can grow to be over 20 feet long, so who knows? Perhaps this is just a dark and mysterious variation of the great white. Number 5. Deep blue shark. Get ready to hear about the biggest and weirdest great white shark in the world. Deep blue shark. According to marine biologists and experts, deep blue measures a whopping 20 feet in length, stands at 8 feet tall, and weighs a jaw-dropping 2.5 tons. I mean, we're talking about a true monster here, with razor-sharp fangs and gigantic fins. Now here's an interesting fact about female great white sharks. They tend to be larger than the males and prefer to live on their own, especially when they're pregnant. Deep blue, as she's known, likes to hang out in the deep, dark depths of the ocean and only comes closer to the coasts when it's time to give birth. It's wild to think that deep blue was first spotted back in the 1990s, but it wasn't until 2013 that she was finally photographed and videotaped. Let me tell you about this mind-blowing encounter. A marine scientist and shark movement specialist named Mauricio Hoyos Padilla and his crew were doing research on board a boat when Deep Blue decided to pay them a visit. She was literally swimming around their boat, with Padilla describing her as the biggest female he had ever seen in his life. Talk about a close encounter. But Padilla wasn't the only lucky one to meet Deep Blue up close and personal. In 2019, a marine scientist, free diver, and shark advocate named Ocean Ramsey got the chance to swim with this massive apex predator. Ramsey's boat became a scratching post for Deep Blue as she lazily drifted around in search of food. And get this, she even feasted on a sperm whale carcass. The dolphins around her seemed to be escorting her, dancing and swirling around her. Ramsey couldn't believe his eyes, describing the experience as absolutely incredible. Number 4. Basking shark. Basking sharks are the second largest shark and fish in the whole wide world. These adults can grow up to a whopping 26 feet long. They've got a generally grayish-brown and speckled skin that gives them a distinctive look. These basking sharks are quite the travelers. You can find them in all temperate waters around the globe. In the summer months, they're often spotted off the coast of Scotland and Ireland, where tourists and divers flock for a chance to see their colossal mouths filtering plankton just below the surface. Witnesses often describe the sight as both serene and surreal, giant shadows gliding gracefully through shimmering blue water, mouths agape like slow-moving submarines. In 2018, a group of kayakers off Cornwall had a heart-stopping moment when a basking shark longer than their boats surfaced right beside them, brushing against the water with a gentle, almost curious motion. Despite their size, these gentle giants are completely harmless, relying solely on their gaping mouths to sift through thousands of gallons of seawater for microscopic prey. And guess how they got their name? Well, when they're feeding on the surface, it looks like they're just basking in the warm water. Cute, right? These sharks have some incredible adaptations for filtering their food. They've got a big mouth and well-developed gill rakers. Despite their massive size and slower pace, these basking sharks haven't forgotten how to catch some airtime. Yep, you heard that right. They can breach and leap completely out of the water. Maybe it's their way of getting rid of those pesky parasites or just showing off their acrobatic skills. Now, because of their size, laid-back attitude, and the fact that they used to be quite abundant, basking sharks were a regular catch for fishermen. They were used for all sorts of things: the meat for food and fish meal, the skin for leather, and the liver, which contains a hefty amount of squalene, for oil. Number 3. Seal Island. Seal Island is a teeny-tiny island just off the coast of Cape Town, South Africa. It's about 3.5 miles away from the northern beaches of False Bay. This island gets its name from the whopping number of Cape fur seals that call it home. And guess what? Where there are seals, you can bet your bottom dollar that a gang of massive, supersized sharks aren't too far behind. See, up until the early 1980s, there was a quota system in place to keep the seal population in check. People used to hunt seals on Seal Island, but all that stopped when the market for fur seal goods took a nosedive in 1983. Now, these great white sharks can't resist the temptation of a delicious seal snack. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for them. And it's given rise to an ecotourism business where folks can witness the sharks in action. These sharks on the island are famous for their size and their unique hunting skills. Picture this: a shark lurking beneath the water, then suddenly launching itself out of the water with a seal in its mouth. Talk about a dramatic mealtime. Here's something remarkable. The seals have a better chance of survival if they stay away from the surface where the faster and more aggressive great whites circle the island like a ring of death. It's safer for them to stick to the murkier bottom. Oh, and by the way, Seal Island's got some real fame thanks to the Discovery Channel series called Air Jaws. It's been capturing the breaching activity of these great whites since 2001. They even made a sequel in 2019 called Air Jaws Strikes Back, where they mention another seal island near Mossel Bay on South Africa's southeast coast. Sounds like a shark hotspot, doesn't it? Number 2. The Google Earth sighting. So we all love Google Earth, right? It's like this amazing invention that lets us explore the entire world just by sitting at our computer screens. We can see things that we wouldn't have been able to see otherwise without having to travel far and wide. But you know what's even cooler? With Google Earth's sky-high perspective, we can discover things that no one has ever seen before. Back in early 2020, a Reddit user browsing the Persian Gulf noticed something unusual just off the coast: a dark, torpedo-shaped shadow cutting through the turquoise water. At first, most thought it was just a boat, but the object had no wake, no whitecaps, and seemed to move with a natural curve, resembling a swimming creature. When someone took measurements using the map scale, it clocked in at nearly 70 feet, instantly igniting rumors that the ancient megalodon might still roam the oceans. Theories spread like wildfire across social media, with amateur researchers comparing the shadow's outline to prehistoric shark fossils, and even overlaying skeletal reconstructions to prove the resemblance. News outlets and YouTubers jumped on the story, labeling it Google Earth's greatest mystery, while skeptics pointed out that the shape's blur and pixelation suggested it could easily be a software glitch or overlapping satellite imagery. Still, for a moment, the internet was captivated. People wanted to believe that a living fossil might have been caught on camera, hiding in plain sight beneath digital waves. Now picture this. There was this one time when a Google Earth photo seemed to show a megalodon in the Persian Gulf. Yeah, you heard me right. Megalodon, that giant prehistoric shark. Scientists were going crazy when they spotted a picture of a coastline that seemed to have a shark measuring over 70 feet in length. I mean, megalodons were known to be about 60 feet long, so this wasn't completely impossible, right? But hold on a second, let's think about it. If there was a megalodon swimming around in those waters, wouldn't someone have noticed it by now? And here's the thing about Google Earth. Sometimes it messes up the images and creates artifacts that make it seem like something's there when it's not. Remember that one time when a giant crab was spotted off the coast of the UK? Yeah, that turned out to be false. Number 1. Charles Alma Baker sighting. Now let's talk about Charles Alma Baker. This guy was a real game-changer in New Zealand's fishing scene. Born in 1857, he made a fortune in all sorts of ventures, from surveying to mining and farming. With all his wealth, he traveled the world fishing and hunting like there was no tomorrow. His expeditions were the stuff of legend. He would often charter entire ships just to chase down trophy fish in distant waters. On one such trip to Fiji, locals recalled seeing him haul in a marlin so massive it took 5 men to lift it ashore. His reputation spread quickly through the Pacific, earning him the nickname, the Sea Baron of the South. He wasn't just after sport, though. Baker meticulously documented every catch, sketching fish and noting tides, moon phases, and bait types with a precision that would make a scientist proud. Many of his journals are still preserved in maritime museums, offering rare insights into the fishing culture of the late 19th century. There are also stories from sailors who claimed Baker once fought a creature so large that his line snapped after hours of battle, an encounter that later fueled the rumors about a possible megalodon sighting. Whether fact or fiction, his tales captivated the imaginations of fishermen for generations. Some even say his obsession with the ocean grew so deep that he built a private study modeled after a ship's cabin, where he spent nights charting maps and reviewing his expeditions by candlelight. Can you imagine having that kind of lifestyle? Anyways, he fished for all sorts of fish, like salmon, broadbill, and marlin. There's even speculation that he might have encountered a megalodon, but we can't say for sure. Maybe it's just another story to create some excitement. We've seen some massive sharks in our time, but no one has been able to confirm the existence of a megalodon to this day. Thanks for watching. While you're here, click the video on your screen to watch more amazing content.